Okay, 7 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Welcome to tonight's meeting. Make a start then. Apologies for absence. Got three, haven't we?
We got three, yeah. It's Phil, Jane and George.
Declarations of interest. No? No. Minutes of the meeting on the 27th of July. All agreed?
Yeah. Public
participation.
Last time I was here, I mentioned about the cones. Would it be all right if everybody does it?
Do you know, I've been trying to find out who's done it, and I don't know who it is. I've asked around. I don't know who it is.
Perhaps it's just one in the store or something.
As I said, I thought it was possibly one of the builders who had their lorries hitting the wall because they can't see it, but I don't know. There's certainly no one up that end of the street. I might pick them all up and put them on the side.
Yeah. Somebody's run door.
I have actually streamed along the wall, don't know if you've seen, and exposed the wall so far down. Well, I got stopped. I was going to go all the way down and I was stopped because they wanted the flowers, the wild flowers. And I did explain they were overhanging the wall, but I was asked to stop. Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have previously mentioned highways problems in the parish. I'd like to repeat that, please, because having had a response from highways that one of the potholes I reported was an unclassified road, low priority, and no money was going to be spent in the foreseeable future. That actually applies to quite a few areas within the parish, which means that there's going to be very little done to surface patching necessity, and they're just going to get worse. I heard that the dragon patcher, which I also mentioned previously, had been seen in Buckland parish. I went over, found out where they've been, and seen quite a lot of dragon patching work on unclassified roads. Quite a bit of it. I've taken some photographs and I was actually going to offer them if you wanted them. In the Torrington Crier in July, there was quite a very good article by Andrew Sewell, the County Councillor. I don't know whether any of you actually saw that.
Yeah, I did.
You did. I have a copy of this article, which I was going to give you. I'm glad Philip's just walked in, so I was going to give him a copy as well. Andrew Sewell has the right attitude towards this work. They've also received, so he says, some additional highways funding for patching and resurfacing schemes, and he's going to put some schemes for it. He also says that they're not guaranteed they'll get done, but if we don't ask for them, we won't get them. So I always try and be as proactive as possible, putting forward such schemes. He talks a lot of sense, he's obviously making himself felt. Can I ask who is responsible for highways in the parish council now, please?
Well, it's the count.
No, sorry, in the parish council. There's a parish.
Well, you haven't.
Who is going to?
But he's just a snow warden, isn't he?
Oh, right, okay.
Mm.
Nobody taking up highways. Right. May I give you a copy of this article, and also you, Philip, and ask you to push for work in the parish? Because the roads, if they're not going to get attended to, they will just get worse and worse. And Andrew says, if you don't ask, you won't get. So could you please...
We are, it's fine, absolutely.
Very interesting article that was. Thank you very much. Pleasure.
We are awaiting a review to be carried out. Highways, they are due to come over the summer, and then we will get a written report to say what they're going to be doing, but I don't know the exact timescale, but I'm expecting it by about September time.
Thank you. Do you know what they're actually going to be looking at?
They are going to be going around the parish or multiple parishes and examining side roads, you know, the roads that wouldn't ordinarily get to the top of the list, and then seeing if there are any that they can actually devote some time and energy to.
Thank you. Are they going to look at all the roads?
I very much doubt they will do all the roads, but I don't know what the map is going to look like at the moment. So I'm hoping that we will get some notice beforehand to say what they're going to be looking at. So I will pick that back up with them.
Thank you. Would it be an idea if people in the parish actually contributed to this and put forward defects that they think are particularly bad? You go down past Henbury Castle, down to one of those bridges, the road surface has just disappeared. And not just a small patch, it's most of the length of the downhill road. And as Andrew says, the more noise you make, the more times you raise it, the more likely you are to get something done.
It definitely needs to go through the Torridge District Council website, because that feeds into everything, and that is where everything will be listed and monitored. So the more people that actually do report potholes and poorer road surfaces, the better, really.
Even if that's already been reported.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I think a lot of us have reported it, and my response that I got was exactly the same as what you got. And perhaps, like you say, it's an ongoing thing that we've all got to keep, doing.
I have actually heard it from a highways representative that I had a lot of communication with. The more people that report it, the more likely it is to get done. So if just one person's reported it, fine, but keep on reporting the same potholes, the same defects. Thank you.
Okay.
Trouble is
Thank you.
that, they're dependent on what funds they got available.
Yeah.
That's the trouble. If they haven't got the funds, they will struggle to find it.
Clerk's report.
All right, I've highlighted a few things to you. The defibrillator pads are on order, but there has been a manufacturing delay, so I'm going to receive those hopefully by the end of this week. Had contact from Sir Geoffrey Cox's office at the tail end of last week, and he has booked to come and visit Buckland Brewer for an open public event, tea and chat with your MP. So I have booked the hall for his office. Obviously it's not a parish council event at all, it's purely his. And I'm awaiting the publicity material from his office to be put on our website and on Facebook pages for anybody who would like to attend. But that will be on Wednesday, the 23rd of August, and it will be 3:30 until 5 p.m. in Buckland Brewer Hall. I'm still chasing the defibrillator cabinet, and there's also a possible fault on that defibrillator as well, so I need to go and have a look at that. But the readiness light is not coming on, so I will escalate that as well. We had some correspondence from Cellnex about access to the mast. All the surroundings are quite overgrown. Now, I have had an update from Andrew Hayward today, and he's going to contact some contractors and get some quotes for us and see if there's somebody who can come in and help. But he mentioned he thought the access was via another track. Now, I'm not familiar with the area, but perhaps I can speak to a couple of you afterwards and get your thoughts on that.
Here's a map here.
Okay, right, thank you.
And there's some pictures
Thank you, Bill.
of the site. Couple.
Right, okay, well, I'll have a look at those after. So
I
I'll
asked a
pick
few
on it.
questions about it, Joe, and what I got was,
Well, they read
it's never come up
they should
before.
keep it clear.
We've not got a key to the gate, so it must be their responsibility, and it's moorland and it should be wild.
Yeah, I think there's wild and there's wild though, isn't there?
But if we
So-
can't get in there, I'm not sure who's supposed to be.
No, well, that's the other thing. I've been going through various documents and things, and I can't find anything that's mentioned about who's responsible for maintenance. So there's lots and lots of different documents, though, because different parties have changed over the years, and there are various addendums, so it's all a bit of a muddle to go through, but I can't find anything so far that actually mentions maintenance for any of that.
To the man that lives there today, Fritz, well, he was parish councillor,
Yeah,
and he says he sees people there occasionally, just a right of way, so they are through there, and they've got, access to it. It's just they need a man with a strimmer and
Yeah.
whatever occasionally,
yeah,
just to keep the track clear.
yeah.
And
Is that outside the gate then?
Sorry?
Is it outside the gate?
No,
Or
it
inside?
goes across the. Yeah, it goes across the moor. Oh, you've got the one there on me that way. If you, the bottom one is the in by the brewery, Buckland Brewery, and the top one is out on the main road towards the chapel at Thorneled.
Right,
It goes across the corner.
right.
Yeah.
What-
And like I said, we've never done anything in how long have they been there?
Right.
70
Okay.
years?
I mean, the only thing I would say, in all the documents, it does say that Buckland Brewer Parish Council is the landlord,
Right.
Yeah.
which kind of implies that.
So are they
It's
talking about
responsible
this
for
track that Trevor mentioned, or inside the compound?
The track into the compound.
Towards the
To
compound.
actually get it, to get
Oh,
into
okay.
it and
All right, I
access it.
misunderstood then.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Right, I've mentioned there's been a few complaints now about that same hedge on the main road there. I will just drop a note into the property owner just asking if they can cut the overhanging brambles at least, because there are quite a lot of them coming over the path. There's the other one I just wanted to mention was the barriers. There's some barriers on Hill Park that are, been there for a rather long time, and they are falling to bits. The various homeowners have asked for them to be moved, but Pierce Construction have said they were installed at the request of the parish council. So it's up to the parish council to remove
Well, I
them.
don't remember ever asking them to do it.
I can't find anything.
We did. We said once they started building there, all the houses with the social housing with the kids in, they run out, and the vehicles that was going up and down. So we got them to put Pierce's put the bollards up as far as I'm concerned,
Right.
and we should just tell them to take them away. That's all. If we
Who put them up?
Pierce's.
They're their barriers.
Yeah, what
So
they're
they
saying
should
is,
pick them up then.
well, what they're saying is they were put up on behalf of the parish council. So as far as they're concerned, then it's up to the parish council to have them removed.
It was their equipment, I guess, wasn't it?
Mm.
Their barrier.
Yeah.
Have them removed or instruct them to move them.
Instruct
them
to
removed.
remove them.
Have them removed.
Where do we put them? Because they want them back, surely.
They're in bits.
Are they?
Yeah, they're a
Some of
terrible
them
state.
are, yeah.
Absolutely terrible state. Yeah.
Because it was to keep it clear, wasn't it? Like you said,
Mm.
stop the kids from it, but also so that people didn't park there, jamming up the road, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With all the lorries.
You'd think they'd have a skip or something, surely, in their building site somewhere to be able to chuck it all.
I'll contact Pierce's again and just say, can you please get rid of this with other building things? But I think this is one of the things that perhaps the parish council shouldn't be touching in future.
They was put there for their benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think the residents ever wanted them.
Now they should take them away. Full stop.
Yeah. Okay, I'll contact Pierce's and see.
We didn't provide them.
No,
Mm.
no.
They did all that.
No, but
It was also to
equally
stop
they
them
weren't
parking
requested
on the
by
paths, wouldn't it? Stop them parking on the paths and.
Well, yeah, to keep that road clear, right? By the time.
I didn't realise we'd had anything to do with asking them.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll see how I get on. Right, I've forwarded on an update about bus services. I don't think our bus services change in any way, shape or form from the 3rd of September, but there are lots of changes across Devon. A lot of enhanced services apparently because of grants available, but they don't seem to reach as far as this area. But it's just worth noting if any users connect to other services, there will be some changes from the 3rd of September. And the final thing I've got is we mentioned about the recycling centres and disposing of household waste last meeting. There is a note on the website, on the Devon County Council website, that says they acknowledge that the government has made changes, but they haven't indicated where this funding's coming from. So until they get some clarity, fees still apply in this area. Devon County Council are still charging the same. So there's a whole list of fees. But the other thing to note is you do pay for some household waste and not other items. It really does depend on what the item is and what it's made of. So for instance, you can get rid of a wooden window frame for nothing, but if you try and get rid of a UPVC one, you have to pay for it. So if you are looking at getting rid of rubbish, it's worth looking at the price list first. And that's it.
With regards to buses, then, I mean, really, in my mind, what we need is almost like a shuttle service to Bideford. You only need to get to Bideford, because once you get to Bideford, you can go
It
anywhere.
opens up, doesn't it? Yeah.
You know, in a way, you don't really need to go all the way to Barnstable. Just get to Bideford. My consider opinion, for what it's worth.
I mean, there's a bus that goes through Fizzlestock, and you think, well, I suppose you couldn't get. I don't know if you can get down the bottom of the hill.
We'll rent a bus.
No, you wouldn't, would you?
Okay, Joe? Right, 48. The LKGM, Wednesday 27th of September. Decision to be taken regarding Buckland Brewer Parish Council AGM representatives.
I mean,
You're in?
well, if I am the Doge rep, I will go to that.
You're happy to go?
Yeah, because I usually do go to that. But what we did last year was that, as usually, Joe went, didn't he? And you found that quite useful, because there's always a lot of kind of people there you can talk to, and that. Maybe, well, whether you wanted to go, Richard, as well. But it is quite interesting. But we only get one person to vote for as part of the AGM.
You going to go again, Joe?
Well, I won't go again because I think there are some newer councillors that would find it beneficial to be able to mix with people if there are people who want to go.
Anyone else like to go?
Yeah.
Is it, where is it exactly?
Exeter Racecourse.
Oh,
It's very special food.
good, just for the food.
I mean,
Wednesday, I'm not sure.
We don't necessarily have to decide names, it's just really the numbers, because obviously there's a financial cost to send in people there. So.
At what point do we need to give numbers?
Well, we need to book tickets, so I can provisionally book 2 tickets, 3 tickets, whatever you want to do, really.
Have you said anything to Doug that I'm going to be? Yes, okay. So you don't, because I haven't heard anything about kind of the county meetings and things like that yet.
I don't think anything very much has come out at the moment.
No,
It's all gone quite quiet, yeah.
Because I think they're short staffed, aren't they? So things aren't going on like they used to.
So Dave's going to attend, possibly one other. Emergency planning. Decision whether to adopt the emergency plan presented to Buckland Brewer Parish Council. This has been kicking around for a while.
The electrical survey up here has been done, but I don't know if that's reached.
I think
I would suggest we postpone that a bit longer because George in there and he's had a fair bit to do with it. Put it off till the next meeting or whatever. And we would have had our training as well. And
it's been kicking around a long time. I mean, I don't mind it's been kicking around. I mean, my view on it is that we ask someone to come up with a plan, and we should we should agree to what they put forward, but I know that's not the case. Maybe it is wrong to have a vote now while these other people aren't here.
Because we're going to hear, because I guess we need to know what was the result of the certain,
The
What,
surveys and stuff.
and both places.
What about you, Sally and Catherine? Do you know what the emergency plan was and how it was presented?
I guess, is it just for like heating? I'm not
Well,
exactly-
I think you haven't read it. It has been out there, but you haven't
yeah,
read
I
it.
haven't
No.
read it all
It's
completely.
more of a disaster.
Yeah, well, I think probably everyone needs to be familiar with it before
Yeah.
we start voting on it.
Because
So
I
can we
was
postpone?
just wondering whether or not, I mean, if it's just, is it just for like doing food and things like that for if
Well, it's
they
an
need it?
emergency plan if there was an emergency in the village.
Yeah, because I was wondering if they could like thinking of it like a cooker. If you got a cooker and like perhaps a gas bottle for it to go on, something like that. Would that?
Well, there would be, if you read through the report, there would be a building
Right.
where people would meet and all the facilities would all be there.
Right.
But
I'll read that
yeah,
properly. I've read skip.
Is there
Um,
available?
yeah.
Well, I think as it's I think as it's been kicking around for quite a while now, one, I think it should be sorted at some point, and Joe and I were both on that emergency plan, put a lot of time and effort into it. Secondly, I agree, let's wait for the training to be done, so that we're all up and above board, and we can sort it out next time.
Yeah, everyone needs to be au fait with what it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe
It's a big decision, isn't it? It's, you know, if we're going into generators and stuff, it's a lot of money.
Okay, well the second part of this is critical now
Yeah.
because we've either got to make a decision tonight to request an alternative use or that money has to be returned because the council has had that money since March 2022. The money was paid before the working group was even assembled. So it's nearly £2,500 and it hasn't been spent. It was requested for a generator, but there is a possibility that it can be used for an alternative use, but that has to be approved. But the use has to be identified and we've got to get permission for that, otherwise that money has to go back.
are they chasing it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've had another email today.
Sorry, Chair. Our only problem at the moment is if we don't go forward and we give this money back and then we go forward with the emergency plan, we're not going to have the money. So it's going to be a backwards and forwards. You know, I mean, personally, from my point of view, I know all about the emergency plan. I wrote it with Joe, and we have been faltering for a long, long time over it.
We have.
But you realise what the cost, the first cost, was 20 grand for a generator. So,
But that was
ridiculous.
you know,
Yes, mental.
it's a
Yeah.
big
That was for the main
expense.
hall, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, this one might be similar.
Can we go back to them and ask if we can
Well,
use it for an alternative purpose, and that'll take some time and give us some breathing space?
I've been asking for more time for ever since I started.
What happens, Joe, if we use this for another purpose? That means we haven't got the money for the emergency plan.
Well, you can't just use the money for another purpose. You've got to seek permission.
If we are permission to pay
Yeah.
for another purpose.
You would have to find the money
we're
for
gonna have to find
emergency
money, yeah,
from your own
find
coffers. Yeah.
The stumbling
Parish
block
coffers.
has been the location of the building. It's either this one or the village hall, isn't it? That's the only stumbling block.
It is,
If-
but the review of the hall was a bit of a non-starter because as a parish council, you're not permitted to spend money on it. You cannot spend money on the fabric of the building anyway. So having electrics changed to accommodate the generator, it couldn't happen in the first place.
So we
So
can't
this
use that money anyway.
Well, you can't use it to change any electrics in the hall, and that is what would be needed for a generator there.
What about here?
Well, that's what we were waiting on, but we
We're
won't
still
need
waiting.
something as that, as big as that.
We can't put money into religious buildings either.
No,
fabric of this either. You can buy portable generators for either building, but not anything that is huge and would need to.
Well, you wouldn't want anything.
No, you wouldn't huge, no.
Because if the electric goes out for any length of time here, they bring a big generator and stick outside the substation. So you don't need a big one. Or if you're going to need anything, it'll just be a smallish one.
Yeah, it's only to put lights and to work a cooker, isn't it?
Where's it going to be stored?
That's another
And
problem.
that's another.
Yeah.
The cost of it is the storing of it, you know.
Yeah.
And
How big is it?
well, if you said 10 kilowatt, that's the size of this table. You know, and you've got the fuel.
Well, if we can't store it, we might as well give the money back, mightn't we?
We had a PTO shaft on the farm, and that worked.
Or
On a
just go
tractor.
ahead and buy it. But then we've got nowhere to store it.
Well,
Probably never use it, would you? It's a bit of a waste of money.
because I guess the idea of this is so you got somewhere where people can congregate, but it very much depends on the kind of size of the disaster.
Well, it depends on loads of factors,
Yeah.
and what the disaster is and everything else. And I mean, yeah, and like you say,
Bit like an
if a
American.
plane landed, well, precisely, if a plane landed on Buckland Brewer, none of us would be using the emergency plan.
Yeah, the emergency services would take over, wouldn't they? Yeah.
It would.
They wouldn't be wanting,
Mm.
we wouldn't be in charge of all.
No, we wouldn't.
So what do you think? Should we give the money back if we can't
No,
if we
we're
can't
saying
use
that
it?
If that's the case, that basically we're scrubbing the emergency plan.
No. But if we can't use it down there. We can't change the electricity system. We can't store it anywhere. What are we going to do with it?
Is there any other purpose that the council needs that money for? Bearing in mind you've got to be able to spend it immediately and hand over the receipts for it.
Potholes.
Yeah. There's a good start.
Can it be used for anything? I mean, can it go towards the youth? You know, supporting the youth project that Dave is doing?
It'll need to be spent as parish council amenities for the.
For the village.
So no.
Would that not?
Plainfield need money for new equipment.
Can we go back to the
If it,
Oh yeah, for the
council?
park.
Can we go back to them and find out what our options are?
Yeah, we do need to come up with some ideas as to, because they need to be able to say sort of yay or nay whether you can use the money for that purpose.
And there isn't any point of just having a generator for any outdoor events or anything, like
Well, that's exactly, I think we discussed this in the past, was if we did have a small generator, you know, that it could be used for events within the parish for the parishioners to use.
you know.
And that was something I think we spoke about, wasn't it?
But like you could hire it out so you'd get something for it.
Well, maybe we just don't need a massive 10k
No.
one, and just get a smaller one that we can use, as Hen says, for events. I mean, in the past we've used Rob's. Rob's come up with a generator for us to do lighting when we've had events. If we have one of our own,
Would that use all the money up?
get a good one.
Yeah, but they most probably, if one that size is cost 20,000, so yeah, I would imagine.
Then if it was needed down in the hall, I know is because you can't just plug it in, can it? Because
No.
No.
Yeah.
Then it's storage.
Should we look into
where
buying
would
one?
we
Should we
store
look into
one?
the cost of a few then? Make a
Would
decision
we
next
get
time.
would we get a few quotes from that to get, you know, instead of just one person?
Well,
If with this, what you're on about, this generator, is
Yeah,
that what you're on
yeah,
about?
you know, if we
Yeah, not just
Free quotes.
yeah, free quotes.
yeah, find out what we can get for the money and
£2,500.
yeah.
Yeah.
Will they be all right? I mean, did we tell them it was for our emergency plan, or did we just say we wanted to buy a generator for the village?
It was an emergency plan and it was specifically for a generator, and it was anticipated that it would be a really big generator.
To be honest, we could still use it for the emergency.
Yeah.
Make them to heat food.
We've got
Yeah,
it.
let's
We're
put it-
not
yeah.
giving the money back.
Let's just go and buy one then.
I mean,
And then we can make a decision when somebody can make
a
a
gas
decision on
one
whether.
would be more useful rather than
Sorry, what was that?
diesel.
Yeah.
You can run them off of gas
Yeah.
so that
Well,
Would we have to maintain it?
Well, yes, it would have to
And
be
store it somewhere.
serviced every, I mean,
How
that
much
gets
is that?
loads more, they do it
How much does that cost, Fred?
once a month. Make sure, because that's a automatic thing, that fires up.
How much does it cost to maintain, do you reckon?
could we use some of the money for maintenance in the future? No?
How much
We spent a couple of cents.
Yeah.
Well,
You're going to make.
But if you're going to charge it, if you rent it out,
we've
you could,
we've either got to buy one or not.
It's not a massive amount though to maintain it,
Well,
surely.
no.
If we're not using it that much. I mean, I was just thinking, if you're having events up in, you know, it can be used.
yeah, you have like a
I
barbecue
agree.
thing and
Let's-
whatever for
Let's
music.
buy one.
And that's it.
Let's use the money.
But like I say, even with the emergency plan, even just to heat food or use a kettle
Yeah,
or
so anything,
some
just for
lighting.
something like, yeah.
Good, you know, you can't use the hall. you can
Somebody
get
might have a
outside.
gazebo or something for everything.
Right, can we get some quotes? Okay, good. Right, number 50. Decision regarding the purchase of an installation of a sign directing pedestrians to Buckland Brewer Hall and the fitness equipment and the amenity field.
That was me.
Yeah. Whereabouts do you think they should go? On the alley
Well,
up
that's,
there?
yeah, on the alley, 'cause there's nothing, as you walk down, and there's a visitor who walked down, and they didn't see that path, and didn't see a sign or anything for the village hall, or amenity field, or adult gym equipment. They went all the way around Hill Park,
Yeah.
and realised there was a cut through, and it was just whether we could, you know,
Think it's a good
have
idea?
a sign up there for visitors, but it would probably have to be on the wall. And are we able to put it on that wall?
Well,
Is
we
the
need to have a look, see what we can do.
You've got the two lots of
Railing.
railings, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know, it could go on one of the railings.
Yeah. As long as the kids don't come along and hit their head on it. or something,
Sounds
they go
like
and
a good idea.
I think it's a good
Unless you
idea.
put- Yeah.
Anyone? A good idea?
Yeah.
Who would do the sign?
Well, I was probably asking
We
Phil.
can get,
I was going to say Phil Slocum. They look
Get a quote from him, yeah.
Well, we've got one for the shop, didn't we? We bought one for the shop and that looks nice. Yeah?
Yeah.
Agreed? All agreed? You agreed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it's within 100, 150 pounds, that, yeah, or 100
Won't be that
pounds.
much, will it?
Would have thought so.
We
The
get
other
a
ones
quote
haven't
anyway,
been.
can't we?
What do we want on it as well? That's the other question, isn't it? Do we just want village hall on it, or village hall and the amenity
Buckland.
field?
all you need is Brewer Hall and
Yeah, yeah.
and also you could also put on there kind of the entrance for the kids for school.
We don't want too much from the day, do you? It'd be a whole list.
Oh, unless you put a picture of the school.
They would
Yeah,
soon
yeah.
know.
But it also goes to my house or whatever house or whatever.
Okay,
Keep it simple.
so we get a quote then? Okay. Right, 51, Chair's update relating to the Parish Council roles. Well, I asked for this to go on because it's more of an apology from me, actually. We've tried to get the roles and responsibilities sorted out, and I was part of that, and there was a lot of confusion. People didn't see emails. I assumed everyone was reading everything, and I was wrong. So there's been confusion. Some people haven't seen or haven't been able to put their name forward for some of the things. So the question is really, do we need some of them? You know, there's some of those roles and responsibilities like the playing field, the shop, and various others. Do we actually need them? So I think that should be postponed now, and we'll do it again. Let's start from scratch. Forget everything that people put their name down for, and we'll start again. So as I said, I thought we would save time by asking people to put their names forward. Not everyone saw it, and not everyone did, and it just got confusing. So start again. Apologies.
I'll second that.
Decision regarding the use of some of the 2022 and 2023 footpath grant funding. Is that for me? Okay, I've been strimming some of the footpaths, and I've been using my own strimmer, and it fell apart, and I lost a spacer, which I've replaced. Cost £13. I have the receipt. Are you happy if I claim that from the footpath grant funding, because that's what it was for?
Yeah.
We've had a couple £100 every year, and we haven't used any of it yet. I'm trying to save it up to get a decent,
Decent
strimmer rather than, you know, the stuff we got, something a bit more. But I've just got that. I mean, I'm not worried at £13, but I thought I'd put it to you, especially after last time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Are you going to do anything to back lane? I thought that we talked about that before, didn't we?
It's been
That-
done. It's been
that-
done.
We've had an additional funding for that, a separate £150, which I managed to.
Has that been done?
That's been done, yeah.
I was going to say, it's been done.
I
It's
must
been
walk
down.
down.
Yeah, it looks all right actually.
Yeah.
Although someone has done has dumped all their
Dump their grass.
grass down there
No, that's nice.
Which lane is this?
over the
Past the shop.
past the shop,
Yeah.
past the
Where they
Down
got
cottages.
the dog
Vicarage,
bin.
Yeah.
Borrowed
Right
Road.
down
Yeah,
there.
the lane going from between
Yeah.
Buckland and
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all been done.
Yeah.
I haven't been.
Now, George, this is 53, decision regarding hedge cutting, maintenance relating to Powerstone Fields. George brought this up last time.
He said he was going to try to get the, aren't we going to get the, I can't think what you call it now, look at the, get a copy of
All the fields.
the fields and the what do you call it?
Tenancy agreement?
The tenancy agreement.
Well, I think what he was saying, it's the field, where it's overgrown is on the roadside, not the
Yes.
field side.
Right.
But
Should it not be the tenant's
that
responsibility?
should-
Is there
But it
renting?
should say that on the tenancy agreement,
That should
shouldn't
be
it?
in the tenancy agreement.
Yeah, so I thought if we
Say
have a look at that, we
responsible
would
for gates
see.
and edges and,
That's what you have.
Yeah.
yeah.
can you look at the agreement, please, Joe?
Are we looking at a particular field or just generally?
We need to talk to George
Generally.
about that.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
well,
he's not here.
the tenants are responsible for trimming the hedge.
Mm,
Full
But
stop.
is that on both sides of
Yeah,
the...
both sides.
okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's-
just
it's
need to
like-
check
it's
that
like-
out, but
It's like the allotments.
I haven't seen the
If you're
tenancy
at the
agreement
allotment,
either.
you're responsible for the hedge
Yeah.
beside the allotment.
I must admit, I've always thought that's a bit odd because no one has got the equipment to do that.
What about the one on the road then, on the allotments, you know, going up here on the right? Who's responsible for
usually
that
do
one?
that.
Right, I was going to say, because
I think we usually do that.
well, it's not,
We
yeah,
take
but then-
responsibility.
Well,
Yeah.
I've done it in the past.
Yeah.
when
Most,
my past
I'd say all the allotment tenants do cut their hedge and they wait until past September the 1st and then they're all done. I do mine.
Yeah,
You yours, don't you?
but some of them, it's a bit of a struggle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do sympathise with some of them, and they had got out of hand last year, and they got done last year by you, didn't they? And the other side was done by your brother, Richard. Okay, if you can look into the tenants agreement then, and we'll have a chat with George and find out which ones they are. Okay, decision whether to support a bonfire event this year.
This is just whether you wanted to do the same thing as last year. Last year, the parish council paid for the fireworks because there was a post-COVID payment, and so we used that money for fireworks because it was for the whole community. Obviously, we don't have that this year, so it's a question whether the parish council would like that event to go on and whether they will sponsor the fireworks.
And where do we have it?
And where it's...
Homes paid towards some of those fireworks.
They offered but didn't.
No, I mean, to be fair to them, it wasn't Allison Homes then, it wasn't the people that we were dealing with.
Didn't speak to the other house.
Was it a success last year?
Yes.
So it's quite a good thing to have. I mean, I'm not around, but
What was the cost of the fireworks last year?
About £500.
Does any of the other events that go on around the village, do they want to participate in anything or?
Well, they will, but you know, it's the cost of the fireworks is obviously quite a big one for any of the other organisations to dip into funds to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big cost anyway.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is I have got the final £175 of the coronation mug money, and that could potentially be put towards it, or I will put that into the Jubilee Fund, which is what's happened with the others. But there is about 540 in the Jubilee Fund currently, without that 175. So that could go back into parish council coffers and be a contribution towards that, or another event. It's entirely up to you.
well, if it's a successful event and it brought the village together, it can't be a bad idea, I
I
wouldn't
was
have
going to
thought.
say, leave it in the same kitty, really.
Well, weren't we not thinking of something next year for some, was it,
The Beacon,
yeah, VE Day or
it's the Beacon event next year, yeah.
VE Day, is it?
Mm.
Yeah.
We might need to have a look at the location as well, because I think just to make sure that there is enough space with all the new houses everywhere. Because if it's up at the field, potentially you'd need toilets up there as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was the mistake we made last time, which we'll put right this time.
So we just need to make those decisions quickly, because I've provisionally booked the hog roast
What's that for?
for the bonfire thing, because obviously they needed to be booked this time last year. You know, after the last one.
Who's going to put it on?
Well, the parish council would need to be involved, I guess, with the fireworks, but everything else would pretty much take care of itself.
Well, who would organise it? That's what I'm saying. Someone said that they will organise it, or is it going to be left to us?
Or with the playing field being
Well, there's not too much to organise.
you know.
Well, the trouble is I'm not around. I'm sort of the driving force there.
Well, the food is taken care of if we go with a hog roast.
Right.
The hall has said if it's down there, they will do a bar. So that takes care of that. So it is literally, all we had, apart from that, was fireworks last year.
Who did the fireworks last year?
Parish council set them off.
Because there is a new problem, isn't there? All the housing estates now, all around the field where they used to go
That's the
before.
problem.
Mm.
There is houses all around, yeah.
People were muttering about their cats and their dogs
They were,
and
weren't
their
they?
chickens.
There was a lot of mushroom
But-
around that.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to go ahead. It's just that I wanted to raise it now, because if we're not going to do it, I need to release that booking for the hog roast people, because it's not fair to leave it till
Well, it'd be
the
a
last
shame
minute.
if it was a good one.
Yeah. And to be
Let
fair,
me-
it was a good, doing it down there was quite good, because you got the hall, you got the toilet,
Yeah.
you got the kind of bars in the kitchen, you got the kind of hog roast, people could park.
Mm. Should we have a word with Roger, and I'll have a word with Teresa, and see if we can do something together?
Yeah, I mean, the hall are already in.
Mm.
If it's happening down there, they're already in and happy to do what they did last year.
But I do think we need to kind of consider where the actual fireworks are going.
Yeah.
Because that, you know, like I say, the field is surrounded by houses all
It
the
is
way
right down the
around.
bottom now, isn't it? It's
Mm.
all houses down there.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
do we want to support an event?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
Trevor?
Yeah.
Well, yes, I mean, if it's needed, let's get on with it.
Oh, it's always good to get the village together.
I mean, it would be a good way for supporting the playing field and you know, because they are looking for equipment he's tested and goodness knows what up there.
Yep.
But,
Because you could do a bar up there anyway, couldn't you?
Mm.
And any
Yeah.
things around.
We've done it before, so yeah.
And
Yeah.
especially if we've got a
Yeah.
generator, we got.
Well, I'm
Let's
thinking
support
about the generator.
Yeah.
Right, we've agreed we'll support it.
I think the generator can be made in
and
voice.
toilets, we've got a hire company.
We've got some in the village,
in
haven't
the
we?
village.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, James.
Come back, Jack, back,
Um,
all this again.
55 is no longer update and decision regarding the recovery of the beacon. Well, Joe's made contact now, and was it a few weeks? I mean, it's a shame because we wanted to get it up through the summer over in the playing field. But if we can recover it in the next few weeks, we can do something.
Yeah.
Have you written to him, or
Andrew today as well, and
have you written to him just to put
It's
it
all
in writing?
yes, it's all in hand now.
Yeah.
The last thing we want to do is
he's tenant hasn't cut his grass yet.
Yeah,
In the
that's-
field
that's
there,
what,
and that's he said I'm not going because you need a tractor to lift from his.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
So he said I'm not going in there running over the grass until Eric had cut. Well, everybody's cutting the grass now, so it should be any day.
yeah, that's fine. As long as we know we've got a date now. it was all up in the air before and we just didn't know if we were going to get it. Right, members' reports. I'm going to start with you. Trevor?
Me?
Start this side, we normally start this side. Would you rather start
yeah.
that side?
I took pictures of the road up through the village and went and chatted with Alison Holmes and said to him, well, I'm not happy. You haven't even got the bowser working. Oh, he busted. I said, well, what do you ever lock on the gate for then? If you can't clean your wheels, you lock the gate. Keep them out. They weren't too happy with that. But, you know, and now, yesterday, I told them they need to do it from Buckland to Parkham.
There was old out there.
Yeah,
Oh, it was
yeah,
stones everywhere.
This was yesterday by the post office. Still a week later.
Sharon told me about
so
it.
I passed the pictures to Phil, and he.
Yeah, so did you?
I said it to Helen Mason. I haven't got the skill to attach photos of somebody who sent me the photos to my officer in Torridge. Helen has said she has spoken to Alison Holmes. And I think Helen spoken to you directly, Trevor?
No, I don't think so. Well, missed it.
I mean, all we're doing is incrementally.
I know it's exhausting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Exhausting,
just
keep going.
adding. And from my point of view, the key is the scent. We've got to learn lessons from it because given the uniqueness of Buckland with the one road in, I know it's on the Park Road now you're talking about as well. But the roads can't stand the level of development for such a small village. And we've got to learn lessons for our planning's point of view.
That's the one that I took yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's there from more than a week ago.
Okay.
The micro looking at you guys here in Buckland, and we've got the macro looking at the, for other developments coming in the area because there's such a huge development. The two developments are coming together on this sort of northeastern side of Buckland Brewer. Yeah. So it's too much for the village to come with.
It is.
Not enough.
When are they due to finish? Do we know?
Another 18 months to go.
I still got phase 2 to do.
Yeah.
So all that stuff on the wood there, was that to do with that? Where were they bringing it from?
Well, they've taken it away, or
They're putting too much in there, too much on
the
there.
site manager said, well, we should be locking the gates and sending them away again.
Okay.
So why are they doing that?
So you've obviously had a chat with them, and did they?
Yes, I went in there and had a chat.
And what did they say to you? What was the
Well, they
report?
was discussed it with the state. I said, well, you shouldn't discuss it. I don't know what I would call it. But,
You think they go and
But they
inspect
don't do
everything
anything about it.
every
well,
day?
yeah. He said, well, we've had 2 heartaches in here this morning with concrete. What do you call them? What they do the floors with, and then they fill it in with concrete blocks, don't they, in between. And he said, well, they went out and never washed their wheels, and they're supposed to have a man on the gate.
I don't know why they don't enforce
But
it.
he's never there.
Well, they're fine.
You think they'd be fed up with us complaining, wouldn't you?
Who should enforce it? Should
The
Torridge-
site.
Yeah, but if they're not enforcing it, should Torridge be enforcing it?
Norwich should be enforcing where there is a situation involved, and police should be involved, and
Yeah,
Denver County Highway should be involved. Norwich is the enforcement agency. Helen Mason has been totally involved, not totally involved, she's been very involved, and she has raised concerns with me about the lack of enforcement that Torridge does, because we haven't got the manpower to do enforcement. And enforcement was all across the district with various issues, etc. And this is the classic example where the village has suffered. And I can only say how disappointed I am that Helen has been involved, that she is keen to do enforcement, but she's not getting the backup, I think, from higher up within Norwich from that point of view. And there's a lot of stuff to enforce at the present moment with all the building sites that have gone on with the area, but you have a unique situation here, I'm aware of that, and I will go back tomorrow to pass on again the views of this parish council tonight, because I get the message, I do get the message, and
It's
it
the
is
same
bad
one
because-
every month.
I mean, it is, and Trevor, you reported it ages ago, didn't you? And it's still not been cleaned up.
You would think with all the building going on there, they would have an enforcement officer for this. Because it's horrible.
Okay, thanks, Trevor, for going in and seeing them. Are they friendly when you're in there?
Oh,
or-
yes, yes.
Very.
I said we
A brave man.
get fed up the same way. But, yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I saw Mark West when I was up on Dorset Board today, and he said, I can't get the minutes in the sign. They're a bit big. Can you get them reduced a bit more? So, I said, well, I'll pass on the message.
What was that? Sorry, you can't
You
get
can't get the minutes, the council minutes on the sign.
Oh, okay.
Well, they go into the, they go into
The chapel bit, don't they?
there's a
Yeah.
book
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know they put them out there.
Because you need to be able to read them as well,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
That's it, I think.
Thank you.
No.
Sally.
Oh, yep. I've had a couple of people mentioning about the sign that has been put on the amenity field going into across the parish field. It's got by order, and they felt it wasn't quite an aggressive way of saying that the parish council by order, and was wondering whether it could be changed at all.
It's a copy of what was already there.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Right.
And if you go to the other end, it says exactly the same.
Right.
It was made before this council, or it was commissioned before this council. I stuck it up because it turned up at my house. But
I think
it's
they felt it didn't reflect.
yeah. Well, there is no order because we haven't got bylaws here.
No, that was my second point.
Yeah.
What order are we
Yeah,
actually
no, we
going
haven't.
by?
I think it's yeah, it's probably not heeded, but it was
No.
made and I put it up.
Yeah. Is there any way we can address that?
It costs 50 odd quid to make it as it is.
Right.
Um,
Okay. Fair enough.
it would need redoing or maybe putting some tape over the by order.
Could do. We thank you. That's
Yeah.
something.
I mean-
good. I mean, just looks a little bit less aggressive, doesn't it?
I'll have a look at it. I'll have a look and see if there's something to do.
And the other thing was a couple of people have mentioned is the grass on that field has been cut, but I don't know how it works, but it's been cut, but it hasn't been cut very short, and it's going to be needing cutting again, and if you keep getting people out to cut it, it's going to keep costing us money.
Right.
So you go up there, I don't think, I walked up there today to have a look, and it hasn't been cut very short at all. In fact, it's hard to see that it has been cut up at the amenity.
The playing field. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I'm on it. From not from the parish council, from the field association, because it's not the first time it's been cut like that, and it already looks long, and it's only done 2 days ago.
Precisely. And then
So,
surely the parish.
It's not enough.
Is it not the parish
Yeah.
council that pays for the cut?
Parish council pay for it, yeah,
Right.
but it's really the responsibility of
Yeah.
the field association. I'll get on to him.
Thank you.
David.
The only thing is, I will try to write up something about the youth project and things like that. The money side is going to be gone away end of August for to be audited. So we'll have a list of what actual money we've got. So I'll do that once the computers work out.
There was a concern, I think, that the people who have been going around the village doing the work for going around speaking to the youngsters and everything, they're actually commissioned by this church. And would it be awkward for the parish council to put money into the church to pay for it?
We asked them to do it. Okay, we've asked them to do that, to map out and to try to gain the views of the people in the parish. They're youth workers, and they work for Tara Youth, which is an organisation doing detached work in Torrington. They're not run by the Methodist Church, it's someone that the money to pay for them, because they'll have to be paid, will come out of this account that we've got. It's not done just through here. We've been collecting money over the last several years, and the account is in a separate account,
Okay.
which is attached to ours, but it's, you know.
Okay.
Somebody, you know, we've had detached workers who were employed by the Methodist Circuit, and they were put in place several years ago now, and they kind of did some work which reduced the amount of antisocial behaviour considerably. Really.
Yeah, well, no, it's obviously a good idea. I'm just raising concerns that it was money.
What we will do, see, is we will separate it away from us. So we'll be looking for people who can form a committee, another committee.
Oh no!
So if anybody's mom is a bit afraid of kind of like Methodists doing it, they can come and do it themselves.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're doing a grand job.
You are.
I've got nothing. Although I saw some emails today about the hedge that's overhanging down the road.
Yeah.
How bad is it?
Yeah, it is. It's to the point you have to, step out. You can't walk past it.
If someone was to chop it all down, how much waste would there be?
Not very much, but it is an occupied house.
Unoccupied.
No, it's occupied.
Oh, so there is
I
someone
know
there.
who's there.
Oh, okay. So I saw you were going to put a note through the door.
Yeah,
I was suggesting that maybe it was unoccupied and I was just going to go down there with a trimmer and cut it down, but you can't do that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was told it was unoccupied
Leave it as it
before,
is
and it
then.
looked unoccupied, but yes, I've just since
Okay.
discovered. Yes.
Right. Planning applications, none.
No updates either.
Accounts, over to you, Joe.
Accounts are going to look very similar to last time for the simple reason that I haven't had this statement yet for July. So balances are exactly the same as before, and the only thing to report, 2 payments since the last meeting, one for training that was done by Dolk for the 2 councillors that can't make tomorrow's training session, and the sign installation at Thornhill had more, so that was installed quite some months ago now, but we've just had the invoice. No receipts, and I've already mentioned about the Coronation Mug Sale money that can go into the parish account. So that's it.
Good, lovely. Phil, would you like to say anything?
Not unless you want to hear it. Gypsies and Travellers and
No, if you've come along, it's good of you to come. If you've got something to say.
No, I just came along because of the money, charges, money bits and pieces, and the follow-up on Trevor's work on homes. It's been a brilliant story here, and I just wish I could do more. That's all I can say.
Yeah, well done, Trevor.
Yeah, well done.
Okay.
Nothing, any questions? If you've got any questions for Darge? And just to say on roads, I mean, the worst bit we got at the moment that affects Buckland people is the one that's following Targe Hill. If you go into Targe Hill a bit, if you see a whole pile of wheel rims chucked up against
I've
the
seen those, yeah.
where they hit the road. And I'm appalled how quickly that one opened up in this wet weather in July. And roads get worse in the wet weather again. And you have go around Buckland, I mean, go out to Thornhill Head, going from Thornhill Head down to the Hoseby Road.
Dreadful.
I can't believe that. It's like,
Nightmare.
so yeah, I'm aware of it. We have ATOP, which is Highways and Transport Operations Committee, and every parish has got a list of things. And, yeah, I'm glad I've not got highways on my list, so I can pass that to James Lawrence.
For this training tomorrow, do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah.
Oh, 3 hours.
And biscuits.
No cake, no cake.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's semi-skimmed, right?
It's 10:30, isn't it? 10:30?
10:30 start. I was going to talk to you about that. I've got the biscuits, don't worry.
Okay. Going back to the roads, Phil, my other half, her car failed an MOT a couple of weeks ago because one of the alloy wheels was cracked because of potholes. Not cheap.
Apparently, the trick of towing is if a pothole's been reported and then you crack
after, isn't it?
and not knowing which one of the thousands
know.
it was that
But then
caused it.
you've got to wait for them to cough up.
I know,
Okay.
exactly.
The process, all I'm saying is the process, but I've known 15 punctures that happened from Bolzannery going into Bidford Police Station, and that's just about a mile.
I can understand everyone, because we do feel like we are forgotten here, and, you know, having lived in cities and everything else, where they get the main amount of money, and we are the forgotten, you know, sort of parishes, aren't we?
Well, I try not to forget you. I love
I know
you.
you, I'm aware of it. I mean, our main road is pretty shoddy, isn't it?
I know. It's just all the way through. But it's not only this parish. There's other parishes.
No,
as well.
that's what I mean, all the parishes that sort of forgotten, and it all gets, you know.
And
If you have a priority, you get things cut back now.
We have the MP coming. You know, at the end we heard earlier. Maybe he's someone to speak to about potholes and what's going on here. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
give him a hard time.
Yes, you should come to that.
Government policy, so
Yeah.
Maybe this gentleman would like
Yes.
to ride in here.
Yeah. Go past right via your house. Just saying when Geoffrey Cox come, perhaps you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show
We
him
could-
around.
Yeah.
Just one thing on Jeffrey Cox. Western News today, a couple of emails come in about the oil orders. I don't know how many people in Buckland Parish has oil as their main heating system, but there's I think 2026 is a change in the law that oil orders will go out. I just wondered if anybody's interested in mentioning that to Jeffrey next time he comes along, because you're not on gas up here.
No gas, no.
No gas. It's a little bit forgotten. But I suspect that a lot of particularly rural isolated properties that do have oil, and it's quite significant legislation that's coming through that you might want to.
Well, it's amazing because the new boilers that they've been installing, you know, there's no the burn off for that. It's just water. It's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you can stick your face over it. It's not hot. It's not toxic. It's amazing.
Absolutely wonderful, isn't it?
We've got oil here. The boiler was probably made by 1903.
Does anyone
Then with a generator.
does anyone want to speak to Phil just before? No. Okay. Shall we close the meeting then?
I got one more thing, good news really. We've got a man who's signed up for the River Trust to do sampling of the rivers in our area. Check on Southwest Water. And, Lee Honey. He's into his photography as well, but I put him in touch with the River Trust, and he sent me an email this afternoon and said, all signed up.
Oh, good.
So,
He's a good lad. He's a good lad. Yeah.
and he could be doing a couple, he's going to be doing the Glen, and he might do monthly mill, and, he'd do 3 or whatever.
Good. Okay, Joe. Close the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. It's not bad.
Oh, that was good.
Jilly, I know you've come along.